Hello and welcome to the Built Environment Marketing Show. And I am your host, Io Abbas. I am a built environment marketing consultant who works with architects and engineers who want to do marketing that's a bit different and makes an impact. Last week, I spent some time in Leeds at UK Reef, which was a major real estate exhibition in Leeds. And in this episode, I am talking to JLL, who are also at the show. And it is a bit of a before and after, where we talk to them before they went out to the show and how I guess they were tackling it from an event perspective as a sponsor, but also as a firm taking a large delegation to an exhibition and conference. And I guess how they managed it and ran that. And just to show that not all things go to plan, I had also intended to do some during recordings, but there were a few technical gremlins, so that didn't quite happen. So we had to kind of re-record a few times, and Andrew's been a great sport, which has been lovely. Anyway, I'll let you get on with listening to the before part with Andrew. Enjoy. Hi, Andrew. Thanks so much for coming onto the show. Can you introduce yourself and your role at JLL?
Hi, yes, I'm Andrew Foord, and I head up UK marketing at JLL.
So JLL is going up to UK Reef next week. And I guess, why did you decide to take part is my first question.
Well, we're really proud to actually be a founding supporter of Reef and also really pleased to be able to work with the Reef team in bringing it back bigger, better for its second birthday. UK Reef aligns perfectly with our leadership commitment to help clients create transformative, regenerative projects that really deliver on the big three areas of economic, environmental, and social value. Not only that, but as a business, JLL is committed to driving investment into the regions, and Reef gives us a unique platform really to do that, as well as bringing public and private sector together.
So you've got your own pavilion there, haven't you? You're sponsoring the one of the pavilions. How big is the kind of delegation that you're taking? How many people are you going? How many talks?
Well, yes.
This
year we're bringing 90 from JLL, which is up from 60 last year, and I guess that just shows you how much we value the opportunity and how much we invest in it. Yeah, and an important thing actually to add to that is that 14 of those 90 are our next gen contingent, and supporting our under 25s and our future leaders is really important to us. Actually, a critical element of the Reef offer.
I have to admit, when I was starting out, going out with senior level partners and stuff, that was the way I learned the most about networking. It was such a way to kind of see how it's done, get to connect with people that you wouldn't ordinarily meet, and also to meet with your peers as well. And it's a great way to start out. So no, well done on that.
Couldn't agree more.
And in terms of kind of what is it you're kind of hoping to achieve from kind of UK Reef? What's your kind of goals? What's your success? When I ask you in 2 weeks' time.
Yes. Well, yeah, I guess, if we think about it, we want to build on the strong foundations of last year. So when I look back, we had overwhelming standing room only response to the sessions we were hosting in our pavilion. So, this year we're going to come back and we'll be with a bigger space this year, and we'll have even more content. And that allows us to really showcase who we are and what we're about, and think about the products, services that come under the umbrella of leveling up and regen.
So in terms of kind of what have you got lined up for the show? What do people have to look forward to?
A packed agenda, should we say. So within the pavilion, we're running 9 of our own content sessions. We've got 5 guest sessions. And I guess these range from subjects such as pricing the low carbon transition. We've got a city leaders reception in that. And we're actually running an exclusive screening of Save Our Wild Isles film, which we've got in partnership with WWF.
Is that the one with Richard David?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's the one, isn't it? Yeah, the one was on the. Yeah, okay, that sounds amazing. Correct. Such an important film, isn't it?
So a broad set of content, and I guess importantly, it's not just about our pavilion. We're of course taking part in the main stage UK Reef panels. Our UK CEO will be joining one of the keynote sessions as well.
You are going to be flying around. That's a lot.
We'll be busy.
And so you've already kind of talked around some of the kind of key campaigns and themes. Is there any kind of I guess I'm going to ask you the next question. So what are you most looking forward to?
Well, look, I think it's very rare to be able to be in one place. We've got 7,000 like-minded delegates. So I've got colleagues from the past that have already connected through, the Reef platform that I'm looking forward to meeting. Real estate's a really fun and engaging place to do business in, and I can't wait to go and meet face to face and really get into the spirit of Reef.
Fantastic. No, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for kind of giving us an intro into what you're going to be up to next week, and I look forward to kind of finding out and meeting you next week, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, can't wait to let you know how it's all going.
Hi, it's Io here, and I just wanted to tell you a bit more about the show. The Built Environment Marketing Show was set up during Lockdown 1 as a way to help firms do better marketing. It was very much about having the conversations that I have with my friends and showing what best practice really is. In terms of me, well, I'm actually a generalist marketeer, so I guess I know lots of things about marketing and how to put everything together. So I could be talking about, PR, or understanding what to do next strategy-wise, or figuring out how to get in front of the right audience or what messaging you should be using. Those are all things that I'm kind of really skilled in and understand how to do for my clients. I now work for myself, and I set up my own consultancy at Bass Marketing in 2020. And I'm working with a range of engineering and architectural firms and even PropTech firms who really want to, I guess, talk the language of their clients and their audiences and do something a bit different in terms of their strategy and content. If what I do sounds of interest to you, do email me at io@abassmarketing.com, and that's AYO, or head to my website, which is www.abassmarketing.com for more info. There's also a link in the show notes. Bye. Okay, so we've heard about before and their plans and their ideas. So what happened during and after? Hi, Andrew. Welcome back to the show. So how was Leeds and UK Reef for you?
Hey, well, yeah, thanks for having me back. Well, it did it again, didn't it? The sun shone on us for a second year in a row.
There were drips of rain now and then, though. There were a couple of drips, weren't there?
I pretended not to see those. But I don't know about you. I thought there was a real buzz, right?
It was amazing.
It was busy.
It was really busy. And you know what I loved was that everyone was really, I mean, I've never been before, as you have. But I think it was the whole thing that everyone was really accessible. So to be honest, my main place to sit was outside the Berry Theatre on a bench. And lots of people just came and said, hi! And but actually, everyone was really lovely. You could be talking to a council leader or someone who just literally sat on the bench next to you kind of thing. And that was the really nice part, was that actually you could talk to lots of people and everyone was just really open and having discussions, which is what I loved. So how did you find it?
So I think that, that was a takeaway. And from, we did have a lot of delegates there, and that was a big takeaway from our leadership, was that there was the right people having the right conversations, a lot of conversations about investment opportunities, and our pavilion was bursting at the seams. So, I mentioned beforehand, we had lots of sessions set up to run through it. And for us, it really acted like our main stage to showcase, the broad set of content that we can bring around the Reef themes, but as well as some of our great sessions, great partnerships.
And was there any kind of session that really kind of you stood out to you the most that you ran? Which one is there one that resonated more? Yeah, I mean,
are you allowed to say that? Yeah. Well, I'm not going to pick my favourites, but I'll pick a few out, which included the launch of our next gen regeneration paper, which looked at the impact of reinvention and repurposing on towns and cities across the UK. So that was nice. It was nice to use Reef as a launch pad for that, and we were quite literally bursting at the seams for that one, with people peering in from all angles. So if you didn't manage to get in, don't worry. It's launching this week. It's all going to be online. We also had a partnership session with the BPF, the British Property Federation,
Yeah.
ran a Towards Net Zero event. We had some residential sessions, so addressing affordable housing challenge, which was really good. And then on the final day, we also held a screening of our Save Our Wild Isles video, which was co-produced actually by our charity partner, which is WWF. So I think what you can try and see, the picture I'm trying to build is really broad set of content that was really well engaged with across all the delegates that were at Reef. And of course, we enjoyed visiting the main stages. We had a lot of JLL people on the broader main stages as well. So, when I look back at it now, I think incredible amount of activity, of content, of conversations.
Yeah.
You can take a lot away from your 3 days there.
So how do you track those conversations and that activity? Because you had a lot going on, didn't you? I mean, for the 9 sessions in your own pavilion, and things like that, and guest sessions and people on the speaker stage, and as well as events as well. You also had events, didn't you, and dinners and things. So how do you track that?
Well, you're right. There's a lot happening. I think there's a lot happening around the fringe, which is really exciting for Reef because it brings a whole another dynamic to it. We want to be data led rather than just get verbal feedback. The verbal feedback's been very good, but we want to be data led. So we made sure that we understood who was coming in and scan badges, and we'll look at that content and that data and make sure that we are adding value to our clients, but also that our people back at home, JLL as such, understand how the interest in the sessions, how they were engaged with, etc. So as much as we possibly can, we'll use data to show how we want to evaluate the success of Reef.
And do you have like a CRM system type thing whereby your partners who are attending, because I guess a lot of it is going to be those conversations in the corridor, right? That's what I had.
It is.
You know what I mean? And it's like, how do you capture that as well as the scanning the badges, which is more of their standard kind of data that you can do? So I always find that's the more complex part.
No, you're completely right, and it's it'll be the marketer's challenge that for something like this, how do you get that real return on value?
It's the granular stuff, isn't it? It's the real kind of
and it's how do you track a conversation, right? But we have a CRM set up. Everybody that attends Reef understands how they should be using the CRM and tracking the conversations and the opportunities within the CRM. And that's not just a selfish thing on JLL. That's to make sure that we put our clients first in that. If one person has a conversation, it's better that client doesn't have to have that conversation multiple times, and we should be able to share that wealth of that knowledge and that conversation throughout everybody in JLR that's going to have an interaction with that particular client. And if you come into that with that kind of client first attitude, I think that we can show a lot of value towards that client. So yes, it's useful for us, obviously, as an organization, to make sure that we use CRM well and we use that. But I think the benefit should also be for our clients.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a really good point, actually. I hadn't thought of that way. Well done. Oh yeah, them. So, in terms of, I guess, how did your social media go during the show, and any kind of did it literally go off?
Lots of really good engagement. So, I mean, if you put it in the 2 pillars of, we had a corporate strategy, and then there's our people. We had a pre-strategy, a pre-campaign, a during, and with obviously running our post content, and it's great. I mean, lots of the people who didn't come to Reef in JLL are able to kind of see it through the lens of that, and it helps bring it to life. I love seeing the engagement and the comments through all of that. But even more excitingly, and also the network and the reach is of course those of our attendees and delegates that are there. So I love engaging with all of those posts and just seeing their thoughts and their ideas and their their kind of narrative that they build from the event, because that makes it real.
Because they're all going to be so different, because they're all going to have different specialisms and areas and have had different conversations. And that's the real richness of it, isn't it? Of having a large delegation at an event. It's not just the corporate line, but actually there'll be all those other splinter conversations and all those kind of richness, really, right?
Yeah, you're right. I guess everyone takes a different journey, and I guess the nice thing for us is that we've got home base at Reef in the JLL pavilion, and people kind of come in. It's almost like the lung of it for us, and people drift out and then come back in and report back on where they've been and what they've seen and what
Create
meetings.
The hub and spoke model. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It is, and it works really. It does work very, very well for us. And is that home team lounge between our sessions, and then we welcome people in to come and hear from us and from the partners that we have on the stage with us in the pavilion. So looking back, a really active productive 3 days up at Reef.
Or expectations, did it deliver what you needed?
Yes, it did, and I think that's not just my viewpoint. That's what I'm hearing from across the full set of delegates that we had. Great to also have the next gen delegates and a really good future leaders there, and they engaged in some of our sessions. We love it when we have our young future leaders in the sessions as well. So. Really, it definitely delivered on what we hoped it would.
So what plans do you have for the content that you ran at UK Reef, and how you're going to, I guess, use it going forward? I know you launched a report, for example, at the show, and are there other things where you're going to make use of the presentations, the talks, and what's come out of UK Reef?
Yeah. I mean, typically what we'll do is we'll run dedicated post-event content and make sure that we're trying to reach those that really engaged in Reef. But what I also like to do is look at any content that we've built and embed that across some of the thematic campaigns that we've got running through the year. So I am lucky at JLL that we've got we're a content producer. So my challenge is more, how do we package that up to be digestible? How do we package that up for market, rather than it just feeling like we're throwing things out and over the wall all the time? So I guess my challenge is less what content are we going to have, more how do we make that effective? How do we make it accessible? And how do we make it engaging for people to read and be part of? So my challenge is converse to some that are trying to create lots of content. Yeah.
And did you record any of your sessions or anything like that, or wasn't that part of your plan?
So we did a lot of video recording when we were there. We enjoy video recording. For us, that works well. We've got some very active people that are great on video. So we'll put out a lot of our post-event content will actually be video content, and typically we see the engagement 4x on that compared to some static content. So
some of the guests,
we did that. Yeah. Some of the guests, some of our experts. We've got a post-event quick highlights show reel, for example, that we'll have out this week with Stephanie, our CEO, introducing that. We didn't record
link to that in the show notes, definitely.
Yes, that'd be good. We don't record sessions when we're there. I think we actually see that there's almost more engagement when people don't feel like they're being recorded or videoed sometimes, and when we do, we're quite open and clear about that. But certainly keep your eye out for the video shots that will be coming out from today, I believe, actually.
Fantastic. I will definitely link into that, because I mean that's really interesting, because I think if you've got the people there, it's like having those little, I guess, smaller kind of actionable content that you can kind of take away with you. It's a great platform to have that, especially if you've got everyone there at once. It kind of it enables you to do that. So that's actually really lovely. In terms of, I guess, what more have you got to do in terms of follow up on UK Reef in terms of as a marketing team? What's your kind of timeline for the next couple of weeks or so? What's your?
I think a lot of that is ensuring that our 90 people there have followed up with those conversations that they were having. You know, for us, it's not about the 3 days when you're there; it's about the 30 days after, right? So there'll be
the 30, the 60, the 90.
That's exactly it. And there'll be a lot of effort to make sure that it's not just fun in the sun in Leeds. It's fun in the sun in Leeds, but those conversations that everyone said they were having are followed up. You know, that we're following up with our partners, that we're also there. So they're the big next steps, and that's what we've got in play currently.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I can't think of any more questions. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Andrew.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to the Built Environment Marketing Show. Don't forget to check out the show notes, which will have useful links and resources connected to this episode. You can find that on abbasmarketing.com. And of course, if you like the show, please do share it with others on social, as it helps more people to find us. See you soon.